It's really frustrating how much potential the WWE has wasted and continues to waste during Nikki Bella's title reign. One of the biggest problems, aside from the wasted Stephanie McMahon angle, is that it feels like the Bellas have regressed back to their 2011 Mean Girl type of form, which isn't a bad thing because they do play those roles just fine, but that's not what they need right now, because they spent all of last year evolving from that. Nikki found her niche with that conceited yet serious and aggressive heel type during the Brie feud, and Brie was just starting to reach her full potential as a face. It feels like right now the Bellas are holding each other back from where they should be. Nikki should not need to rely on Brie to do everything for her, and Brie should not be Nikki's lapdog. Nikki needs to be dominant, and Brie needs to be a face. Then again, with how lazy the booking has been and how much potential has been wasted, I doubt they'd even know how to book them separately, which is weird because their feud last year was simple enough to write itself. Nikki wins the title, uses Stephanie McMahon's power to her advantage, and makes Brie's life a living hell until Daniel Bryan returns, and then Brie builds her road to redemption at WrestleMania against Nikki. Regardless whether you like the Bellas or not, that is, on paper, the perfect redemption story fit for WrestleMania, the same way that Daniel Bryan's story was last year. But right now, it doesn't seem like WWE even knows what direction they want to go in next. Right now, it's Nikki Bella versus Paige. Now, I don't mind the mean girl bully angle that they're going for because at least they are doing some entertaining things to make it interesting. But Nikki brought up an even better story on commentary. This is supposed to be the typical diva versus the anti-diva. That's an interesting dynamic that they can play off of. And I thought that's what they were going to do this week when Nikki came out to cut a promo. I thought she was going to cut another pipe bomb similar to last week, where she pointed out that Paige claims to be different, yet she still screams, wrestles, and flaunts her body like every other diva. Yet the Bellas are supposed to be typical divas for those exact reasons. That's the type of material this feud could use to take it to another level and go back and forth with. But instead, Paige cut Nikki off, and that was it. And this is exactly what the problem is. WWE wastes every chance that they have to do something good with Nikki's title reign. And this isn't a case like with Layla in 2012 where there wasn't much they could have done to make her reign interesting. With Nikki, they're constantly missing opportunities. Brie's heel turn, the return of Daniel Bryan, the return of The Authority, the feud with AJ, which could have been good if Nikki was allowed to do the trash talking she's done on Paige. This feud with Paige, where the only momentum the Bellas are getting is in WWE exclusives. Opportunity after opportunity is being wasted. So I do hope that Nikki retains the title and at least gets one more month to turn things around. Especially since I will be going to WrestleMania this year, and that is just one thing that is on my WrestleMania wish list, is for Nikki to go in as champion. Now, people want Paige to win because they don't like Nikki's title reign, but really, if WWE has managed to waste as much potential as they have in Nikki's title reign, do you really think Paige is going to get a better title reign? Nikki is still the top heel of the division. Her road to the title was as perfect as it gets, and it only makes sense for her to keep it going into WrestleMania. So whoever wins it then, it'll be that much more of a meaningful moment when she does. Or if Nikki retains at Mania and keeps it until like SummerSlam, that'd be awesome too. According to spoilers, Charlotte said goodbye to NXT and will be moving up to the main roster before WrestleMania. And this is not good news for either side. For Charlotte, it's not good news because she's not going to be allowed to have the 20-minute matches she had on NXT. So everyone that's expecting the match quality to suddenly increase the very second she comes up, it's not a matter of what divas come up, it's a matter of what WWE lets them do. That's why it's better for them to stay on NXT where they can do everything, as opposed to the main roster where they can't even do a closed fist. And for the rest of the division, Charlotte's debut isn't good news because, well, we're all dreading the monster push she's about to receive, which may even include an instant WrestleMania match and a title reign that lasts for a year. And that's the last thing the division needs right now. Charlotte does not need to be rushed to the main roster this quickly. She's gonna be in the WrestleMania match next year, so there's no hurry to bring her up now. But if they spend time building her up and wait until at least SummerSlam before she wins the title, then that could work. I mean, it's still too early, but at least there is some benefits in that if they keep Charlotte away from the title, you know WWE is going to keep Charlotte on TV with or without the belt. So at least if she doesn't have the title, that can help get some focus on the other divas that she feuds with, while other divas are in the title picture. But if she does come up the way everyone expects and becomes a 16-time Diva Champion by next year, that's not cool. Velvet Sky and Santana Garrett have been released from TNA. Normally, I'd be upset about this, but for one, it was Santana Garrett's decision to leave TNA, so I can't blame them. And for two, Velvet has been continually overlooked and underappreciated for years, and should have been the most successful member of the Beautiful People. And even though she wasn't pushed as hard as Madison and Angelina, she's still a bigger name and star than either of them. That just goes to show how valuable she was and how misused she was in TNA. Now it does suck because Brittany and Samuel Shaw's angle had a lot of potential, and we still never got a proper Velvet versus Angelina feud. But on the bright side, this opens up the possibility for either one of them to give WWE another shot. Santana Garrett has wrestled for NXT before, and with Bubba Ray's return, the chances of Velvet Sky at least making an appearance for WWE are as high as they've ever been, so I look forward to that. But on the bright side, Awesome Kong returned to TNA, which is a little disappointing because I was actually looking forward to a Karma versus Nikki Bella grudge match. That could have been a really significant feud, especially at this point in Nikki's career. But obviously, it was WWE's decision not to bring Karma back, otherwise she would have returned there instead. But now that she's back in TNA, I'm a little mixed on this, because she is, without question, the best monster in women's wrestling. But I don't know if the roster has enough depth for her right now. Part of why her first run was so great was because the roster had so much variety and competition for her, whereas right now, aside from Havoc, the only other challenger for Awesome Kong is Taryn Terrell. And even after Taryn beats Kong, if the division hasn't improved by then, where do either of them go from there? Taryn won't have a tougher challenger than Kong, and Kong can't go much further with this current roster. So the Knockout division is in a little bit of a delicate state right now. There's a lot of shaking up and improvements that need to be made if they want to avoid being in the same position they were in 2012. But that just about does it for this week. A few updates. The Divas Q&As will be returning depending on the title match this week. Now, if Nikki retains the title and goes on to WrestleMania as champion, that'll be enough motivation for me to come out with a Diva video every week until then. But if not, then it likely won't be until after WrestleMania. Rest assured, if you asked us a question anytime in the last 3 years, we will be getting to it. We have over 100 questions to get through, and we will get through all of them. Anyway, this has been MTO with the MTO More Review saying yada yada yada, blah blah blah, the end.